Hey guys, it's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides, and today I wanted to answer a question that a lot of people have been sending me messages about. They want to hear some of my experience and my advice for getting that great deal on a new car purchase. Now, let me just start off by saying that I'm not an expert by any means. I don't have a finance degree or anything like that. I don't work with any dealerships. There may be better ways to get a deal or other ways to get a deal, but I'm just going to give you the past few decades of my experience. I want to share with you because I think through my research and whatnot, I have a really good method of getting a great deal, and overall, I've been able to make that whole purchase process really work for me in the long run. Now, one thing you should know about me is that I'm sort of like Batman. By day, I'm actually a high school teacher, and at night, that's where I'm a YouTuber. So right now, we're actually in my classroom, and just so you know, it is after school, so we're not on the taxpayer's dime. We are on my time, and I wanted to, just help keep everybody on track, including myself, about what are the things that you need to do with a new car purchase. Now, this is going to be a two-part segment. The reason why I decided to do it in two parts is because I'm going to focus some time on what you need to do before you go to an actual dealer to make that purchase of the new car. And then I'm going to do a part two where I'm going to focus on what are the things that happen once you're at the dealership, so that by the time you're said and done, you are driving home a happy camper with a great deal. So where I think we need to start with this whole car buying experience is that I've created a scenario that I am used to that maybe some of you are going to find yourselves in. So there are going to be other scenarios, but in this scenario, we're going to be buying a new car and we're going to be trading in an existing car. And I'll get to that information in a second. So when it comes to buying a new car, I boiled it down to 4 different types of research you need to be doing at home before you even head down to the dealership to buy that car or truck or any other vehicle, obviously. So when it comes to research the heck out of that car. With the advent of the interweb, you have all these abilities to find out information about the car. It's not just about going to the manufacturer's website, but that's really obviously where you want to start. Go to that manufacturer's website, find the model you're looking for, and then take time to read the details and even use that build option that they have where you could add the accessories and the options that you want. This is going to work twofold for you. It's going to allow you to see what options are available, and then it also gives you the price, because what can sometimes happen is that the price that the manufacturer says the option should be is not exactly what maybe the dealer is writing down on that bill of sale. Now, once you have a pretty good idea of what kind of car you want, how much you want to spend, then go and do that research of is this car going to be the right car for you? You can go and Consumer Reports has information, JD Power Associates. Now there's obviously tons of owners forums, especially for the enthusiast types cars, which are a lot of the cars that I really love are enthusiast type cars. Search those forums. The only thing I want to tell you advice-wise is just be careful. There's a thing known as the recency effect. And what that means is that you may read some information, and because of that information, it may change how you react to that situation. So when you're on those forums, you're probably going to see more negative things happening with their cars rather than positive, because a lot of times people, they need to post and communicate when things are going wrong, but you don't get a lot of people posting when things are going right. So just be aware that you may find in your particular car that you really are wanting that there's a bunch of stuff that people are saying can go wrong. Just let it be known that that may not be the whole big picture. you want to do your due diligence and research to find out, is that really just 1% of the owner's problems? And are those 1% of people, are they on the forums talking about it? And that's why it may seem like it's a huge problem when in reality it's not. It's sort of like if a plane crashes, if a major airline crashes and a bunch of people die, you might say to yourself, you know what, I have to travel in a month. There's no way in heck I'm flying on a plane. So you say, I'm gonna drive in my car. I'm gonna drive to that other state and I'll be a lot safer. Guess what though, if you do the math, there's more people unfortunately that die in auto accidents on highways across the United States than in actual plane crashes. So that's the example I'm trying to give you, is when you go on these forums, different Facebook groups, things like that, just be aware that usually people tend to post when things are bad, not so much when things are just going great. So that's the car research part of it. And once you have that, now you're ready, in my eyes, to move forward. Like I said before, this is just my way of doing it. Feel free to modify or get any other input, because like I said, I am by no means the end-all expert in this type of stuff. I'm just trying to share my experience to get you guys the best deal. Trading. Now, yes, you can sell your car privately, and I'm gonna have a total vlog about selling your car privately, because there's a lot of things that go with that. But in this scenario, we're talking about trading. Now, when you trade in a car, obviously it's gonna be an easier process. You're not gonna have people coming knocking on your door wanting to drive the car and all that kind of stuff. One benefit is that whatever the value of your trade-in is, you're not gonna have to pay sales tax on that. So what I mean by that is that if your car is worth $20,000, the dealership gives you $20,000 towards your trade, that means $20,000 you're not gonna be paying sales tax on the whole price of the new vehicle. So you are gonna get a little bit of money savings, even though you probably could make more selling it privately. You're still gonna get some benefit when it comes to your wallet. Go ahead and do the same thing like you did with your new car. With your trade-in, research. Go on Kelley Blue Book. Go on NADA. Look at what other dealers that have a used car inventory are selling your car at retail. Let it be known that when you go to Kelley Blue Book or any other resource for that matter, nothing is etched in stone. That is just a guide. So don't think that by seeing that on your computer screen, you could go down to the dealer and you're definitely gonna get that number. It's just a guide. Another thing that you wanna be doing in all of these different levels of research is you wanna be printing this information up. So when you do your car research and you're looking for pricing, print that stuff up. I'm gonna go back to number one real quick. Another thing you wanna do is, there's some dealers in your area that may list like the no haggle price. And let's say that you don't want to deal with that dealership. Maybe they're too far or whatever. Print that information up. Have it in some type of little folder so that when you go into your car dealership to get your new car, you have all that information readily available. You could place it down in front of the salesperson, and then he or she could even share that information with the sales manager. So in all these steps, you want to print this information up, not just have it on your phone, passing it back and forth, have it down on paper. So definitely, when you're researching the car, look at other dealers, see what they're selling the car for. Because a lot of times there's other dealers where, like I said, they'll have that no haggle price. So back to the trade-in. Here's how it's gonna work with your trade. Now, you look up on Kelley Blue Book, you look on NADA, you found some values. What the dealer is going to use, the dealer actually doesn't use either of those. They use either what's called the Black Book, which is something similar to the Kelley Blue Book, but it's specific just for dealers. They're also going to look at online auctions. Now, I'm not talking about eBay per se. I'm talking about auctions that are car auctions that are in the state or the area or whatnot. They're going to see what kind of values your car is bringing in. Now, one thing to be aware of, it's sort of like a balancing act. when you're trying to get that final purchase price deal, just be aware that you might be able to get a little bit more for your trade, but then you pay just a tad more for the car. It's one of those things that you work on the balance, and I'm going to touch on that when we talk about the part 2 stuff at the dealership. Right now, we're just getting all of our research. So, like I said, go to Kelley Blue Book, go to any of those sources, print the stuff up, have it in your hands, see what other dealers are selling your car used for. That's going to give you a great idea of what to expect. Number 3, the dealer. Now, some of us may not want to travel far distances. You know, I know there are people that order things online, then they fly, pick it up, drive it home. You use whatever way you want to handle that. If you're using a local dealer, then you obviously really want to, just like if you're using a faraway dealer, use that internet, go to Google, look at the reviews, look at dealerrater.com, cars.com, Yelp. But like I said, gather it with the knowledge that, okay, there's the good reviews, but there's the bad reviews. Have that really to look at and, you know, see really what people are complaining about. Because I'll be honest, sometimes I've read Google reviews and some of the complaints really don't have anything to do with anything. So you definitely want to look at that. Another thing you want to do is maybe call ahead. Find out what is the service department like. How many service techs do they have? How many master techs do they have? Now you're probably saying, well, who cares about that? When I go to get my car serviced, I'm just going to drop it off. And what do I... Obviously, if they have more master techs, that's a good sign, because the master techs can do a variety of things. You don't have to wait for that 1 or 2 master techs that they have, and then everybody else is just, you know, changing oil and rotating tires. So that's a big thing, because I'll be honest with you, the service department to me is what's the most important. If a dealer has a poor service department, that's going to make ownership of the car miserable and your experience with the dealership miserable. Because think about it, that day that you go to buy your new car, it's exciting. You know, the salesperson's trying to get you the best price, you're trying to get the best price for yourself, and it's an exciting thing. The problem is it's only a one-time deal. When you go back to the dealership, you're probably going to be dealing with service. So that's something you want to look at. Look at the dealer fee. Ask on the phone, what is their dealer fee? I've seen dealer fees as little as $300 up to $1,000. You know, does the dealership have a Starbucks inside? If they have a Starbucks inside their waiting room, that's something you kind of have to look at, because there's a reason why they have it there. Somebody paid for it, and usually it's because their dealer fee is higher. The dealer fee is just a fee for buying the car at that dealership, them doing the pre-delivery inspection, and all the other steps of the process. Not all dealerships are equal when it comes to the dealer fee, so you definitely want to research that. And also look at, hey, are they giving you, lifetime oil changes, or your 3 first oil changes, or something? Because usually a lot of dealerships, to be competitive in the market, are doing something like that, and that's something you can look at and compare it to what that dealer fee is. Also, when it comes to dealers, you want to, see what kind of inventory they have. Before you go down for the big day, maybe go down and you're gonna have to use your willpower, just test drive the car, and that's all you're gonna do. You're not gonna look at any numbers, you're just gonna test drive the car. Just know that if you go that route, you gotta have willpower of steel, because obviously they wanna make a sale, and they really don't want you to leave without the sale being made. But just know that that's definitely an option. Go down to the dealer, meet them, interact with them, because sometimes the stuff you read online, it comes out in the wash when you go and you actually meet the people there. It may be all exaggerated stuff, I don't know. But I would go down, test drive the vehicle, definitely see if the vehicle is something you really like. Because remember, if you're looking at this part and you're just looking at just a spec sheet of numbers and performance figures and things like that, you don't drive those things. So my advice is go down, drive the car, get to see what the dealership is like, but then go home. And I think you'll be better off for it. Also, we'll talk about in part 2, what are things that you need to do the day that you drive down for that big sale. What time of the month do you want to go? Usually you want to wait until the end of the month, because that's when dealers are trying to meet their monthly quotas, get their numbers in. So you'll actually have a chance of getting a better deal at the end of the month rather than the beginning of the month. Of course, you're going to also get a better deal if there is a year change where they're trying to get rid of 2017s because the 2018s are already there on the lot. These are things we're going to talk about in part 2. The last part is the finance calculator. You want, and the reason why I saved this for last is because it's really the most important. What can you afford? You definitely want to go into this situation with some different scenarios. If you're going to finance the car, do a little research and see what are your options for interest rates. You definitely want to know your credit score ahead of time. Credit score, a good credit score is like money in the bank. The better the credit score, the less interest you're going to pay for. Research on the manufacturer's website. Are they doing a 0% interest? Sometimes it's actually better to go find your own financing, so that way you get the lowest interest rate and maybe a ton of rebates rather than this. Sometimes 0% interest isn't always the best way to go. Sometimes if you go with a credit union, you're able to get like 1.9% interest, but you get $7,000 in cash rebates. That actually is going to play a big dividend, because for every $1,000 you're spending, that's an extra $20 a month. That's how you have to look at it. So if you put an option on a car and it's an extra $2,000, that's going to be roughly around an extra $40 a month. That's another way to look at it. Online, there are tons of finance calculators that you can use to type in your trade-in value that you hope to get, what you hope to get the car with, interest rates, and it'll tell you what your monthly payment is. That will help guide you. And like I said, print up a few different scenarios. That way, when you're working with your salesperson, you're working strictly bottom line numbers. Never, ever, ever communicate with a salesperson what you just want your car payment to be. Because there's lots of different ways that they can work numbers where they're not in your favor, but it makes you think that they're in your favor because of what your monthly payment is. Always, always, always talk and negotiate the bottom line number. And that's something we're definitely going to focus on in part 2. So as you can see, you got some homework to do. If you want to go buy a new car, first of all, congratulations on having the means and wanting to do that. Second of all, you need to do this stuff ahead of time. Have the things printed up in a folder so that you have your ammunition ready if there's any situations during the whole negotiation phase, which, like I said, we're going to talk about in part 2. But anyways, that's it for today. Hopefully I was able to answer some of your questions. If you have a certain question about this, definitely want to leave it in the comment section. I will reply to you, no problem. I also want to thank a lot of my new subscribers for joining on. We're almost to that magic number of 1,000, which is under the new regulations for monetization and whatnot. So I'm very grateful for all my current viewers, all the past viewers, and all the viewers yet to come. And like always, if you have a particular topic you want me to talk about, if you have a particular car you want to see, or if you have something special that you would like on Raity's Rides, leave a comment, email me, go to my website, raitiesrides.com. I also have my Instagram, Raity's Rides. And like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.